betrayed by those closest to you hurts no matter who you are. Here are some celebrities who were fooled by evil people and paid the price. Uma Thurman was scammed out of nearly $1 million a few years ago, but quickly proved why she is not the one to mess with. The actress is really good at playing women that you don't want to cross, and I can confidently say that she has the same energy in real life after hearing about how she dealt with her financial advisor. Back in 2010, Kenneth Starr was discovered to have scammed millions of dollars from his celebrity clients, again from Thurman herself a reported $1 million. Allegedly, according to the Daily Beast, upon finding out about his scam, Thurman marched into the man's office and demanded her money back, and she got her money the next day. But she wasn't the only celebrity that Starr was managing. According to People, after Thurman confronted Starr, it began to spread through his clients that he wasn't all he said he was. Some people were able to get out before things got too messy, like director Martin Scorsese. Others weren't as lucky, like Blade actor Wesley Snipes. Other former clients of his included Natalie Portman, Al Pacino, and Sylvester Stallone. Uma Thurman started the downfall, but Stallone provided that final push when he sued Starr after the Rocky actor lost $10 million. The lawsuit specifically dealt with the Planet Hollywood restaurant chain. Apparently, Starr was telling Stallone to stay invested, but then telling his other clients not to invest because it was going to go broke. It was a whole mess. He was sentenced to 7.5 years in prison. But I bet you're not wondering how he was caught, even though you should be. When the authorities went to pick him up at his home, they found him hiding in the closet. He was given away by his shoes like a live-action Looney Tunes bit, and to make matters funnier, in 2015 he sued 50 former clients claiming that they never paid him for the services he did do for them that weren't scams. The audacity. Corey Feldman is next, but I would argue that the actor was less fooled and more just taken advantage of, and here's why. Feldman has been speaking out about a known problem in Hollywood for decades: the mistreatment of younger stars. For too long, this was the kind of thing that everyone was aware of, but kind of pretended wasn't really happening. According to Feldman, not even the authorities would step in. He shared that he gave them a list of names to investigate for acting inappropriately towards those under the age of consent, but according to Feldman, the police didn't do much. Feldman took matters into his own hands, choosing to speak up on the issue himself and address it in his 2013 memoir, Choreography. He shared that he experienced the very thing he was trying to bring awareness to, and that some of the perpetrators are, or were, still working. Unfortunately, later other co-stars of his made it known that it was common knowledge that all this stuff was happening to Corey, and yet nothing was really done to stop it. We are in a different era of Hollywood now, where things aren't perfect, but at least they're getting better. But this video could not be put out there without Diddy making the list. The man currently has been accused by over 120 people of doing truly evil things to them and or just putting them in situations where those evil things could happen to them. Of course, Diddy has not been found guilty yet of all the charges. His trial is not for another few months. However, video footage of him committing horrible acts was leaked to the public around May of last year and led many people to believe the disgraced rapper was more than capable of doing what he's been accused of. I'm talking about the incident with his former girlfriend Cassie Ventura in a California hotel back in 2016. Ventura was actually one of the first people to bravely step forward and accuse Diddy of harmful behavior. While some people supported her from the get-go, others were more reluctant, as at the time, Diddy was a widely loved performer and people just didn't want to believe that he could do something like this. Of course, then the hotel surveillance footage dropped of him doing everything to Cassie that she said he did, and anyone with a heart quickly changed their opinions. Diddy later made a statement apologizing, but the damage was done. Soon, hundreds of people came forward with their own stories. Former producers and other co-workers, employees Diddy hired, guests from his parties, not all of them in the age of the majority at the time of their incident. Now, most of the public is firmly anti-Diddy, and everyone is anxiously awaiting his May 5th trial to watch what happens. Heidi Montag famously underwent 10 cosmetic surgeries in one day, and although she said she doesn't regret getting those things done, she feels she wasn't properly informed of just how difficult it all would be. She said in an interview that she felt like she was misled by those that gave her the surgeries. She knew how many surgeries she was going to get. It's not like the doctor was trying to get her to do more, but she feels like they weren't upfront with the tough parts of the process as they should have been. She even compared the experience of talking about her future potential cosmetic work as the doctor selling cookies. 10 surgeries in one day. It's safe to say it was a lot and overexerted the woman's body. She even briefly passed away. Husband Spencer Pratt later said that he and his wife learned the hard way that there is no such thing as a little surgery. Now, Montag has been opened that 10 years later she's still experiencing health issues seemingly related to the 10 procedures. A Ponzi scheme from the early 2000s resulted in billions lost from your average Joe all the way to big names like Kevin Bacon and Steven Spielberg. Bernard Madoff was sentenced to 150 years in prison for being the money manager that made this whole mess happen. The Ponzi scheme involves a person paying profits to earlier investors using the money taken from new investors. The global recession hit around 2008 and led to the discovery of Madoff's scheme. A bunch of investors all went to withdraw about $7 billion at the same time, but the man didn't actually have it, so they essentially lost it all. The government later set up a fund to return as much money as they possibly could to people, but still, at the time, hearing your retirement savings had disappeared or your college fund, in the case of Steven Spielberg, it wasn't his money lost, but some would argue worse, the funds of his charitable organization. At the time of the Ponzi scheme, about 70% of the foundation's money was invested with Madoff. They did recover and continued their mission to this day though. As for actor Kevin Bacon, he and his wife had, in his words, invested and then lost most of their money in the incident. Bacon was very aware though that the suffering public might not want to hear a big celebrity talking about this, even though they were technically going through the same thing. The actor talked about how him and his family were just grateful that they were all just physically fine and that they just agreed to buckle down and get back to work. In the end, they were able to get some of their fortune back. Elisabeth Moss's first and only marriage has been described by the actress as traumatic, awful, and horrible. The groom was Fred Armisen, who you might recognize from SNL or as Uncle Fester in Wednesday. The talented comic and talented actress were great together at first, but soon after the wedding things must have taken a turn considering the playout. Fred later took accountability for his actions, speaking on the Howard Stern show. He admitted that he was a terrible husband and that he felt bad for everyone he'd ever dated. Moss has now seemingly left the marriage behind her, but did give the public some insight into why she might have divorced the man. He's so great at doing impersonations, but the greatest impersonation he does is that of a normal person. She isn't alone in her experience. Other partners of his seem to have negative experiences too, one referring to Fred as a sociopath. On the Stern show, Fred said he is actively working now to fix his patterns in therapy. Anne Hathaway was scammed out of about $2.4 million, but her story is a bit more personal. Her scammer was her boyfriend of 4 years. He was an entrepreneur from Italy, and he was allegedly taking money straight from the actress's bank account. He would promise his clients property in exchange for their investments, but the property was owned by the Roman Catholic Church, or he just never actually went through with the sale, and to me that just sounds like he invented a brand new sin. Anne Hathaway wasn't the only person affected by his bad deals. Bill Clinton was also burned by it. Folieri was deported from the US and served 4.5 years in prison. On a lighter note, despite being a very terrible situation, Anne Hathaway proved that she can look at the situation with a sense of humor. In 2010, the actress did an interview with Vogue in which she was asked about her deal breakers in a relationship, to which she responded, fraud. She also said that now she is way more careful with her heart, but luckily 2 years later she found the one and they are still married today. What do you think? Is fraud a deal breaker for you? Let us know, and if you're looking for more, check out the rest of the channel. Thanks for watching. Bye!